Hey everybody, so I thought I would jump on tonight and talk about some predictive love transits. And I also am going to kind of speckle in some man child aspects just to be aware of when you're meeting new people. So, anyway, the stars really do tend to narrate our relationship timelines. And so, in my experience, there are very specific aspects that I have seen after looking at and working with thousands of different charts that hold true for certain relational periods of movements, let's call it that. And I actually evaluate these with my clients in terms of kind of rewiring our subconscious and using astrology and neuroscience to kind of remove blocks in our love lives and to manifest what we're wanting in our love lives. But I thought tonight what I would do is share with you guys what I find to be the top movers and shakers. Agree, disagree, leave it in the comments. But let's talk about marriage first. There are 7 transits that I feel I see a lot of marriages fall into these time frames astrologically. And I kind of listed everything out in order, like highest to least. So with marriage, starting with the 7th house, the new moon in the 7th house, that's a big marriage period. Like even with Uranian midpoint trees, that my light is flickering. Oh my goodness, do you guys see that? Eclipses in the 7th house, marriage. Jupiter in the 7th house, makes sense. Saturn in the 7th house, North Node in the 7th house. And then touching on Saturn a little bit more, Saturn on the descendant, and then Saturn and Venus transits. Those are the 7 astrological time periods I see in progressions and returns. When I'm looking at charts, D9s, second harmonics, I see a theme of marriage with these particular transits. So let's take a step back and talk about meeting the one, right? Meeting somebody who is going to play a big part of our lives, whether we get married or not, but a very strong potential partner. I see 8 periods in astrology when I'm looking at transits that I see a lot of activity with meeting somebody really important, right? New moons, of course, that 7th house Jupiter again. Jupiter on the descendant, believe it or not. Venus on the descendant, that makes sense, of course, right? Jupiter-Venus transits. I think the North Node in the descendant, definitely. The North Node in Venus and the Venus return. So those are the 8 periods of time that I find most of my clients are meeting somebody where it's a very karmic relationship or a very deep, very powerful, very evolutionary relationship. But I have more for you guys. I have some negative periods too. Let's talk about hookup periods. This is where So when we talk about hookups, there are 5 time frames astrologically that I see people engaging with potential partners where there's really, there's only potatoes, there's no meat. It's pretty much like a hookup, emotionally detached situation. And if you're able to engage others that way without developing emotions, good for you. But usually somebody ends up getting a pretty salty or hurt in these scenarios. The 5 transits that I see that occurring a lot in, starting from, the greatest to the least, Mars-Venus transits, 8th house Mars, 5th house Mars, Venus-Uranian conjunctions, and Mars-Uranian conjunctions. So those conjunct periods I put them at the end of the list, but I kind of, when I was reevaluating it, think they should probably be a little bit higher. Those conjunct periods are pretty strong for hookup relationships. Lots of confusion there. Breakups. There's 8 periods and transits that I find a lot of my clients fall into when they are severing ties. Full moons, eclipses, of course, Mercury in retrograde in the 7th, Venus in retrograde period, Mars retrograde in the 7th, Mars Pluto in the 7th, and very harsh Uranian Venus aspects. And then during a Venus return. So I know I talked about that earlier, but I do see a lot of breakups during Venus returns, as well as meeting like very important partners. So Venus returns are kind of funny that way. But yeah, I thought I would share with you guys my list that I've developed over the years when I'm evaluating synastry, some of the things I look for in terms of meat and potatoes. And then let's talk about man-child placements. There are 14 placements specifically I have that help me determine if somebody is kind of like a man-child. Cancer moons, sorry guys. Aries moon, Mars, or Venus. Again, sorry, but facts are facts, right? Gemini moon or ascendant. Fifth house stelliums. Oh my gosh. Saturn moon squares, Saturn sun squares, Uranian Saturn squares, Uranus and Venus, really any time they're lighting each other up. Fire sign stelliums, you know, okay? I don't. Pisces moon, come on. Sagittarian Venus or Mars, Gemini Venus or Mars, Moon Neptune dances, and Moon Mars squares. Those are the 14 transits I kind of look for to see if a man is a man or if he's a man-child. So I've seen this after I've logged this after looking at thousands of charts, like I said. So I'm just kind of sharing it with you. So you can take it or leave it. Leave me your comments. I love to hear other people's feedback or if they find it to be true or a little bit different. And then just a reminder here at Grave Intentions, Wednesday night is the cutoff for our special service. And Thursday night is the cutoff for our new moon service. I'll put up the web address, check those out, but we are fast approaching the cutoff date for those group community spells. So if you want to join, you got to jump on the website and get yourself signed up for that. Talk to you soon and stay magical.